Welcome to The Good, the Bad, and the Sequel. This is the movie podcast where we're talking sequels, and we do it in two parts. The first, an interview with an actor or someone involved that made the film worth watching, and the second, discussion of the sequel, what they got right, what they got wrong, and how it could have been better. Hope you enjoyed last week's interview with actor, a man of a million stories, James Dumont, his story about landing a gig in Blues Brothers, and then up until all of his career, growing up in Chicago, auditioning for Class against like John Cusack, who he went to school with, which is so mind blowing. And then The Righteous Gemstones, he's Chad on there, and he gets to work with his son, which is pretty awesome. So if you haven't heard that, make sure you check that out. And this week, man, and Chad's right in the Chad, his character, James Dumont's like right in the beginning of this movie, which is pretty neat to see him in that role. He like plays that type of character, like somebody professional so well. And before I talk about any of this, a perfect re-entry to a franchise. It's weird when a sequel is kind of like a re-entry to get people hooked again. Before I talk Jurassic World, I have to introduce you to my partner in this sequel watching journey, Jamie Riccardi. Jamie, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good, Doug. How are you doing?
I'm pretty good. I think this might be, I'm sure we talked about this before when we cover movies, or maybe it's so dumb that we haven't mentioned it. This might be one of the few sequels that we've covered that I've seen in the movie theater. I remember clearly seeing this one.
Yeah, I remember the movie too. I'm a huge fan of the first one. I mean, I read the book by Michael Crichton before the movie came out. Well, it might have been the last book I read, but I remember, and it's funny. I think the book is more similar to this movie than it is the first movie. Like I think he was trying to have, but so I did see this movie in a theater. I think I liked it better the first time I saw it. Now I'm not saying it's a bad movie, but it's really not a great movie, and it honestly makes you. I mean, this came out 20 years after or what was the distance between this one?
Yeah,
and the original?
about 21 years. Yeah, I think 21.
Okay. I think the first one blows us away. I mean, even like CGI, I feel like they use a lot of CGI in this movie, and I feel like it just shows you how good the first one is, because I think it looked better. Like it was darker. It was just such a much better movie. This one, it was okay, but there's a lot of problems with this movie. A lot.
Yeah, no, I agree. And especially with the CG, I think what it is, they can't repeat sort of like those, not as, like it's more detailed in the movements. Not saying obviously the T-Rex chase scene to get Ian Malcolm in the first one, but it's just in this one, they want to do so much more, like the fighting scene at the end. It's just so much CGI when you're watching it, but it still looks good. But I agree with you. Like I haven't seen this since I saw it in the theater, and I loved it. And I still think the ending's awesome. Like I think that's so not like it's funny. I was looking at we'll talk a little bit more of some spoiler that I found like in one of the posters that they removed. It was pretty neat. But so let's get into this movie.
And one more thing. I think again, the kids in the first of all, there's a lot of similarities to the first movie, right? You have, you have the scientist who doesn't like kids, and then he starts bonding with them later on. And the same thing with this one. You have, Ron Howard's daughter who looks beautiful in this movie. I think she looks good in this movie, but doesn't like kids. And then later on she bonds. But I feel like these kids were not likable. The first movie, they were likable. Like he was a nerd with dinosaurs, and he really you could see it was fine. This kid overacted his excitement way too much. I know. And I think it became like annoying. And even his brother, he acts like he's 20 something years old, but he's only a sophomore in high school. Right. So,
oh my God.
Yeah, because he says he's got 2 more years, right? So the way he acts with girls and everything else, he's a sophomore in high school. Like these kids were not likable. So like that's part of it. Like I really didn't care if anything happened to them. Like I wasn't
the thing was, I hate to cut you off, but when he is like leaving to go to the park, he like sees his girlfriend, and he does she dump him? Wasn't there like a weird?
No, she was like she was like write to me every day. Like
That's what it was.
He was like almost annoyed, and like in seconds, he was already flirting with another girl.
That's like, what I was gonna say. That's what I was trying to think. If I remember, like when I was watching it, I don't know why. Like I probably looked away, looked at my phone, and then when we saw him look at all those girls a million times in my head, I'm like, did she like dump him? But he was flirting with everyone.
Not even. She gave him a hug, and she was like, again, write to me every day. I'm gonna miss you. And throughout the movie, he's looking at girls throughout this movie. Like it's like, again, he's a sophomore in high school. Like, you know, it was just like, I don't know, it was like almost too much. And yeah, you know, I mean, you know, this movie again. I one thing I don't understand is, so this is the fourth movie in the franchise, right? There was three before this, okay, and they're all in the same timeline, right? They're all part of the same story. How many times
other people come back in a
correct? Which I didn't see the other one, but my point is though, like, okay, so I think there's technically 6 movies in this franchise, right? 3 new ones, 3 old ones. Okay, so how you in the first 3 movies you have dinosaurs that are constantly killing humans. At what point do you ask yourself, is this a good idea? Like, is it like how many more people have to die to think that you can actually control dinosaurs? Because clearly 6 movies, how many humans have died because of dinosaurs? So and who's greenlighting it? Like
you know what's funny? How does BD Wong still have a job? He's been working for them, screwing up for all these years. And then you're like, oh, you know what? Let's like start splicing them and making like super dinosaurs that are like attractions. No,
he plays the same role in every movie, by the way. Like I like him a lot. I think but he does play he plays that scientist, like sneaky scientist in every
evil.
Movie.
But he's evil
he
in
is.
This one. He has that little turn.
And who does the hiring? Because we have what's his name? Gomer Pyle. You know, as the bad guy.
I know. You know what? And then, how does he be on the property and be able to like be involved in all this? And then the main guy that owns the park, he's like kind of like, oh yeah, I want to read your research. What are you doing?
Well, he seems clueless. Yeah, but he seems clueless. Like, but I'm talking about. So you have Newman, who was the same exact role as Gomer, and somehow they like, so you think that you have these people that like this is a high like security, the only place that has dinosaurs. You know, you would think like this would be like you're hiring the best. Probably the process to get a job there has got to be intense. I mean, this is like top secret stuff, and somehow in both these situations you have someone that's undercover for working for another evil person. Like, how is that possible? Like, it's just awful.
They didn't vet them. I bet you like McDonald's is good in their interview process. They like vet probably like Burger King and Wendy's employees that are trying to like learn the secret sauce. They probably ask the right questions, but no, Jurassic Park, they don't care. And the idea of going to, do you know how much anxiety I got watching this movie with the parents letting their kids, again, I know in this world that we live in, it's okay to do this, but I don't know if I'd be fine with my kids going with my flaky aunt who hasn't seen me in years. Yeah, you go be with the dinosaurs that eat people.
Okay. So this is obviously right in the beginning. So, you know, I would be nervous. My daughter's 20. I'd be nervous of her flying to Florida by herself. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
These kids, again, a sophomore in high school. The other one has to be like a 6th grader, right? Or maybe even 5th grader. Not only flying to another country, but then taking a boat from that country. So they're flying, taking a boat to landing in a country without any adult supervision, somehow finding their way to get to this, you know, boat that's packed with people, going to probably the most dangerous place in the world.
I know. And it's like very playful with the kids' rides and everything that's going on.
It's Disney World with dinosaurs is really what it is. Like the layout is Disney World, right? And so what parent would feel comfortable sending those 2 young kids across the, you know, wherever they're going? I think it was Costa Rica, but the way they're getting there, like she didn't even pick them up at the airport. Like she didn't even pick them up. Like they had to go to her work. So no one got them. They actually had to probably take a cab. So they're taking a plane, a boat, and now a cab to go meet the aunt at her work. Like, ridiculous. Yeah. Okay.
But at least their aunt did provide like hot not Keira Knightley. Because that's who she looked like her, and she was like kind of like a good character. Obviously, she meets a demise. But one thing I do love about this movie is the other characters cast in roles. Like, there's not a ton of them, but still like a little bit of comic relief with like Jake Johnson, who's like a great actor, like comedy and serious. Lauren Lapkus is the other like security worker. There's just like these other random characters that have these like the fact that he's wearing the Jurassic Park shirt. And he's like, yeah, I paid a lot for it on eBay. Like, it's, you know.
But why was she because people died in that park. But isn't your place called Jurassic World? Like, isn't it the same kind of like
one word off?
Yeah, and you're that offended by it? Like, like so dumb.
Yeah.
So dumb.
This, one thing I wanted to ask you, did you notice that there was Christmas songs at the airport?
I did not notice.
I don't think this is a Christmas movie, but I heard a Christmas song and I'm like, come on, you guys have a huge budget. You're using like a Christmas song?
I did not know. You know what? Which would be weird because I didn't see one Christmas decoration throughout the whole movie. So
oh no, I know, but it was like so bizarre that, and then they cut in to show like family, and it's like, when are we gonna tell them? It's like after the divorce, after we sign the paperwork or something. Okay, and the kids are like running off.
That storyline, nothing happened with that line. Like there was a whole part where the kid's crying to the brother about who are we gonna live with, and if mom and dad get a divorce, but that didn't come into play at all. Like that storyline was honestly a waste. Like they could have just left it as, all right, mom and dad are going to send you guys away and we're going to have our own little vacation, and fine. It wouldn't have changed anything. The divorce storyline did not come into play at all. In fact, they both picked them. They both came at the end. So
I know. I feel like in the next one, the kids aren't in it, but do they show them? And hopefully at least I don't even yeah, ever since that we were together.
I don't remember the second one at all. I mean,
the second one is when they're like in that mansion for most of the movie. Do you remember that one?
No, not at all.
And then they release the dinosaurs at the end. Spoiler alert. She makes the decision to like release them because I think something's gonna kill them. I forgot what it was, but yeah, she lets them go. And then the third one, I don't think I've ever seen, even though I feel like I've seen clips of it. Probably because
it's new. It's only like a year old. Like it just came out.
Yeah, I know, but I thought I saw it. But I saw a poster for it. It was like,
right
in the normal world with like in cities and stuff. I'm like, really? So that's like Godzilla, right?
No, it's like Planet of the Apes.
Yeah,
and I'm listen. These dinosaurs, they are Godzilla. I mean, they are monsters. I mean, okay. So this movie, the plot of this movie is that there's a Disney World of dinosaurs. But they're creating new dinosaurs because they're trying to attract more people. Is that? Yeah. First of all, the place was packed. I don't know, so it seemed like a lot of people are going there, and the hotel is inside the park.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, because you have to live on the island. It's not like there's another island. Maybe that's the. Yeah.
So the owner of Jurassic World, he owns the island.
Somehow he owns the island
because it's the only thing on the island, because they take the boat to get there. People can't leave until the boat gets there, so there's no place to go. So technically, Jurassic World takes up the entire island, and he owns the island.
Yeah, I think so. That's the way it was in the other one. Because remember the same thing. It was like the only way you could leave was by boat. There wasn't even a helicopter in the other one. Like there was not even that idea. Well, I guess because the storm. But yeah, there was like you had to get to the boats. But yeah, could you imagine the fact that so many people survived this? Like at the end scene, I was hoping to see like maybe like a handful of people. No, every seat was filled in like whatever that area was.
Yeah, let's be honest. If what happens in this movie really happened, I don't think anyone's escaping.
Oh,
I mean, just think about it alone. When they're running away, that thing's going to step on how many people at a time when it's walking, and squish them like a bug. So, the fact that many people made it through is a little ridiculous. I have a big problem with what happens at the end, and we'll get there when we get there. But so, do they talk about how this guy owns the island in Jurassic World? Like, how is he connected?
He's become like the CEO of John Hammond. So John Hammond somehow knew this guy in like whatever the 20 years of the, in between the movies, and he entrusted him to treat the dinosaur. Because remember what his line was? It was like, be nice to the dinosaurs, right? He said,
Okay,
be happy and be nice to the dinosaurs. He had like 2 dumb rules.
All right. I guess so.
Yeah, okay. I didn't get that guy's whole role. It was like this aloof, crazy guy, and you knew what was going to happen with him because you're like, why the hell is this guy flying a helicopter? Like, so
not
bizarre.
Only why is he flying it, why is he flying it with other people? Like, it's one thing if you're going up there with a trained pilot, fine, but like you're gonna risk someone else's life. And let's be honest, he's not a good pilot. So the fact that I don't feel confident, because they said I think he has like either a couple more hours or another day or 2 that he gets his license. They said
like 2
right
more
at the beginning.
Yeah,
or something like that. Okay,
he lied.
The way he's flying it, it's so shaky. Like when it's like landing in the air, like I think the expert pilot that's with him should say, hey, you know what? You might need a little bit more than 2 days because you're not. He really was not a good pilot. So I mean,
why would they let him fly random people? Like I don't think you can. If you're a student driver in a car, you can't just be like, hey, Timmy, I gotta pick up my kids and I gotta stop at the store. I gotta pick up my mom. Like, can you drive all them? Yeah, that's not a good idea. He has no experience. Same thing. Like, how about later in the movie? We'll talk more about it later, but he like traumatizes these ex-military guys. They're like, yeah, I was in Iraq and Afghanistan. And they're probably like, what are we doing right now? We've been in bad situations, but this is like the worst situation to be in.
And honestly, they were not prepared for what was going on. Like that, it was like the military in Alien 2, right? That, they have all these guns and they're going after the mother alien. They were so outmatched. I mean, these military people, they came in here with machine guns. Like they're basically fighting Godzilla with machine guns. Like they were like, you would think they would have at least bigger, maybe a bazookas or a tank or like things a little bigger. Like, no, and I like how like the military people are all acting tough in this movie. Like they're like it's Predator. Like, they all were coming out there like, we're going to go get in there. We're going to get like they're going after this monster that's, they're going to squash them. And they're all acting tough. Like, yeah, we got this.
And did you think about this? How many dinosaurs really ever get loose? These people are on payroll. They just sit there all day long, like ride the rides and walk around because this is like their only moment. And obviously they sucked at it because they all got stomped around. But it was like all these guys are just sitting there. If you're going to splice together you want to have the largest dinosaur. Like she wants to do that. Like she says to James when he says, we want to be thrilled. And she explains like, this is I forget the name of the dinosaur, but it's like, this is the biggest dinosaur, you're ever going to see. And it's like, okay, if you're making that, why don't you upgrade your military equipment? Nah, we're good. We have these little nets that covered his head.
I can't I'm also curious how long Jurassic World's been open because the way this all happens, it seems like it was very easy to happen. Like it was like, like everything was very easy. So like, was this like opening weekend when like they, everybody was there? Was it like this has it been around for a while because they were so unprepared? The fact that they didn't even know that this dinosaur could turn invisible. Which again makes no sense because he's obviously splicing other genes to give it other animal characteristics. Your goal is to bring more people here to see the biggest dinosaur in the world. Why would you splice a chameleon that could turn invisible when people go there, they're not going to see the dinosaur?
Yeah, that is true.
So what was the purpose?
Dude, we should start a zoo and have like real animals there, and then the last one have it the invisible dinosaur.
And no one would know.
I swear he was here yesterday. I saw him. He showed his skin. It was great.
Put fake claw marks on the wall. Oh, he's here. But like that makes sense. Like you're giving it something that makes absolutely like why would they do that if the purpose was, unless BD Wong is working with Gomer and they're going to use it for military purposes.
It could be. That would make the most sense. But I think because, again, he's this very smart scientist. Obviously, he's bringing dinosaurs back to life. But he doesn't like really do. He like reads the first line of the species and not like below it can do this. Because in the other one, what did they do? They did the same thing, and then they didn't realize that because they used amphibian DNA, right? And then they were able to have babies because they were only making females, but they were able to turn into males and make more of them. So there was like a ton of velociraptors. Like
so
all these
again,
creatures.
So this goes to what kind of interview process that the scientists don't realize what they're doing. You know, like, you know, again, they clearly the scientists are the bad guys because they're making mistakes left and right. You know, they don't know it can turn invisible. They don't know they can have babies. They don't know, like, so where are you hiring these people? You know, like, and, you know, okay, so there's a lot of people here that have jobs. How do you train for it? So these scientists have never dealt with dinosaurs before, yet somehow they're able to do all this. You have Chris Pratt, who's training raptors. Where do you learn that? Like, where does he, like, does he start off with like lions and now he's working his way to raptors? Like, how, like, what makes him think that, you know what, I'm gonna go down there and I'm gonna train these dinosaurs? He's got no training skills for a dinosaur. Like, no one does.
I think you're onto something. I think there has to be like a building block. So you have to start with like frogs. Then you have to go to like ferrets, then like dogs, then mountain lions, and get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah. And let's be honest. I mean, you watch these lions, they're not, I mean, they're trained, but how many times you see them, you know, you hear stories that they're eating, you know, Siegfried and Roy, whatever. Right. Yeah. So these are dinosaurs. Like, for the most part, dogs are really the only animals that you could train well, right? You know, you go train a frog, like you said, you're not training that frog. So what makes you think you could train a dinosaur? I mean, you know, like, so it's yeah.
And the silliness of it, of him looking at them. Oh. And then like later in the movie, it's like all this stuff went away because it's their kind.
Listen, I think the raptors in the first movie were fantastic. Like, they were scary. So they were smart. Right. So here they were pretty cool too when they're running in packs. But the fact that they're communicating with the big dinosaur and then they're communicating with, Chris Pratt, like it took away the scariness of the dinosaurs because they made him like almost cartoony at that point. You know, the fact that they honor Chris Pratt now, and he came back to say goodbye, and he went back in the woods, and like, it's just like these are vicious dinosaurs. There's no soft spot.
Murdering machines.
They're like the toughest dinosaurs out there. Yeah, I mean, that's right. I mean, the fact, I mean, I don't know. Again, that's, I think, which is missing in this movie. There really was no scare factor, right? The first movie, really nothing. First movie, you see the T-Rex. You barely see the T-Rex, but you see the car shaking, the water shaking. You see like the raptors opening the door for the first time.
Oh, raptors! Like in the kitchen, when they kill the hunter, the main hunter guy.
Yeah. So that this movie didn't have that. Like, there was no scary factor. It was just like, it was almost too comical.
Yeah. The only one that was like. Was obviously like when it first started, which we'll get to in like a few minutes. That was the only one. Like, oh, okay, this is cool. You know, this is like not unanticipated, but this is cool. But the rest of the movie, you're like, all right, he's close.
And again, they humanize these raptors. I mean, he's riding a motorcycle next to them as they're running together. Like, like, I mean, again, that I think that's the problem is they were trying to make it cutesy, and you're doing it with the most vicious dinosaurs from the other movies. Why? Like, I don't know. That was dumb.
Yeah, and anyway. D'Onofrio in this scene when we see he's talking, and I love his idea, honestly. Like, if we could just, instead of like going to war, if we could drop off, like, have an airplane that could, like a big cargo plane, just drop off a bunch of Velociraptor, throw a T-Rex in there. Then we don't have to have any soldiers die. That'd be great. Even if there's like a guy, like bad guys somewhere, there's obviously no hostages in there, but you like throw a raptor in the house and you're fine.
Yeah, because that's not gonna. Those aren't gonna kill any innocent people. They're trained so well just to kill the bad guys.
No, we'll seal the windows afterwards. We'll seal the windows, and then when everybody's murdered, we'll throw in like a little grenade. then knocks them out, and then we put them back in their cage.
Oh my gosh!
Till next time.
So ridiculous.
But no, when he is like, yeah, we want to use these things overseas. I'm like, all right. But how about when the guy falls in, and this is when he does like the face to face, but you're like, wow, he's really good with these guys. Then he just hit the button. And then he just gets underneath, which he does twice in this movie.
I know. He played such an Indiana Jones type role in this movie.
No, he's great. Dude, he's great in this
movie. And again, he was good. I mean, the role is perfect for him. And again, if it wasn't called Jurassic Park, and he played a great role. But again, for the movie itself, I don't think it was great, but yeah, I like Chris Pratt. I think he's good in everything he does. And I mean, he does the Indiana Jones role right between, like, would you risk that? Like, are you that confident to go down there and like talk to these dinosaurs? I don't know. And you know what? He doesn't even seem that confident because he runs for his life most of the movie, away from them.
I was just thinking about it. Has there been a time that, obviously I'm sure that like somebody did that, like went for the barrel roll, like to get under a door and
didn't make it,
went too late and they got hit. Yeah. If that's on footage, like maybe like a zookeeper, like trying to get away from a gorilla and you just watch him like, I've seen it in the movies and then just clunk.
I'm willing to bet that no one's ever tried the barrel roll.
Wow.
We
used to do it as kids, like under the garage door.
Oh, you mean the door that automatically goes up when when you just basically pass the plane, so there's no way you can get crushed?
You just cover it. You cover it. You cover it, and then it's fine.
So you were playing with danger, and you just wanted to see, took that chance.
Danger is my middle name.
So okay.
we talked about it before. I wish they showed more of it because we didn't see a lot of rides. So to go back to something you mentioned earlier, how long this place has been open. I would guess around a year, maybe 2 years. Obviously, it's really expensive probably, but like Claire's job, beautiful Bryce Dallas Howard's, which I met somebody when I was out in California that knows her, and hopefully that really comes to fruition one day.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Talk to her on the podcast because she was amazing in this. She's amazing in so much behind the camera too. But her character in this movie, she wants to make this big new thing it's a family place, sort of. What are you going to do? Like leave your kid on the Triceratops, the baby Triceratops, to be able to say, hey, look at this murder machine that's in this big thing. To me, it makes no sense.
No, none of the rides make sense in this movie. I mean, there's a ride that the sphere ball that basically they have complete control to go to go wherever they want. Like there's no track. Yeah. They go. I mean,
Nothing.
That makes absolutely no sense. That right, So yeah, I mean, what's weird also is she has access to everything. Like she's like the general manager, right? She runs the entire operation. Yet she has no clue what the scientists are doing in there. Like it's top secret, right? So like, wouldn't you have access to everything? Shouldn't you have access to everything so you know what's going on in your own park? No, the scientists have their own little thing, and it's only the scientists know what they're doing. How is that possible?
I know. She was clueless at it. What are you guys doing in here? Like she had no clue. She was like, oh my God, this place is really big. And obviously she goes through that to do her pitches, but I know it was so confusing. But the rides, it just made no sense that we saw just a little bit of kids' rides. So at least the first one, it made sense. Like, hey, this is a zoo pretty much. You're going to go on this track and you're going to see everything. That's it. There's no special thing to get out and just walk around. That's the part that was like, wow.
I know. It's so bizarre. And I mean, what's also funny is, this movie takes place in Costa Rica, yet every worker there was American.
I know.
I mean, even the kid, it was like a kid that's working at a Great Adventure, Six Flags Park.
He's in so much. I know you're talking about the tall kid.
Complete stoner kid that's like a summer job that he doesn't even want to be there. He's even there, and this is a Costa Rica. Like, there's no way that guy's there.
Where do they live? I guess they live somewhere in the hotel. You can never escape work. You really cannot escape work.
No,
it's like prison.
It's ridiculous.
What are you going to do for fun this weekend? I don't know. Probably Jurassic World. That's my only option on my day off.
Oh my gosh. And
is there a bank there? Is there a doctor there? Is there a food place? It's all concession stands.
And how? Okay, what about the fact that you're staying at this hotel that's inside the park? How annoying is that if you want to sleep in? Like, it must be noisy all the time. All the time.
Yeah. Shut up, pterodactyl.
I wasn't even thinking dinosaurs, but yeah, the dinosaurs are loud. I was thinking just the people and like the loudness. But yes, between the dinosaurs and the people, like your hotel room is in the middle of the park. That's a dumb idea.
Yeah, it really doesn't make any sense when you really think about it.
Want to shop Walmart Black Friday deals first? Walmart Plus members get early access to our hottest deals. Join now and get 50% off a 1-year annual membership. Shop Black Friday deals first with Walmart Plus. See terms at walmartplus.com.
And even, how about Claire when she takes Owen? So she talks to her boss, and she was worried because the dinosaur, when they went there to check it out, the dinosaur was like trying to get out, and the guy was kind of worried. So he said, "Hey, Owen, he's, we trust him. He could be able to do like, I don't forget what phrase they use, like a checkpoint or something on this place." So when they get there and they're like looking around, she taps on the glass like it's like a fishbowl. She's like, ding, 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 ding.
You know how that glass has got to be so thick that they're like she literally thought that by tapping on the glass that the dinosaur's going to come out.
Yeah,
like it's so dumb, And you know what? Listen, she's not her nephews. I feel like they haven't seen her in a long time. Their greeting was literally like 2 seconds. Like, I don't even know she hugged him. I don't even know she hugged him.
She did.
Like
I think she hugged the younger one maybe, but it was really awkward. And then she was like, "When was the last time I saw you? 2, 3, 7 years."
Yeah, it was very awkward. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, again, I feel like I don't know how she got the job because I feel like she really had no clue what was going on. And again, like you said, the fact that she's tapping on this window, she really has no clue. It's almost like as if her father's a director or something,
And she's wearing heels while going in a helicopter and walking outside.
Right.
I understand, you can have a bag that has sneakers. No, she's rocking heels the whole time.
Wait. Or how about the fact that when she's ready to really like start like working with Chris Pratt, her way of like getting ready was taking her shirt, opening her shirt. That was her. I mean, when she did that, I'm like, really? Like that's.
I thought she was gonna pull the American Ninja when, Joe Armstrong's like, "Hey, you gotta listen to me," and he like ripped her dress, and then he snapped her heels. So at least it's gotta be really uncomfortable walking like that. But yeah, like, something. No, she was still in heels.
She was still in heels, and her shirt was just open. It was just open and tied. Like it wasn't even like wrapped around her waist at first. It was literally just open, so she could just
And his tone changed too. He was like, "You are really dumb right now." Like that's what he wanted to say, but he's like, "You look great. So I'm in charge. You're gonna listen to me." And she's like, "Okay." It's like, "All right, this is something here." But we get like the guy at the facility, the guy's on his lunch break and he's just eating right there, right where the people would eventually go see. And then, dude, this scene is like crazy. Like the way they did this scene was really good. The fact that it's like, oh, it's not even in there. And it seemed like it was moving.
Would you? Okay, so there's I have a couple of things with this. So first of all, they were able to track them thermally, right? With the what is it called? The heat, thermal, right?
Yeah. Like
how did it? But he turned it off that they couldn't track it anymore.
No, I guess he's able to do that with it somehow with like the camouflage. He's able to turn. Yeah,
he knows that. Like the dinosaur knows to do that. I mean, okay, this dinosaur does things in this movie are so ridiculous. I mean,
you mean rip out the thing the tracking device
that he
the perfect spot.
The fact that he knew it was a tracking device, that's to take it out. The fact that he pretended to climb out, so he put scratch marks on the wall to make it look like he climbed out. Like first of all, dinosaurs are known to have small brains, right? They said the dinosaurs' brains, but this dinosaur literally outsmarted all the humans. Like I mean, you know,
I didn't even think about it when it comes to the tracking device. It'd be like more if he's like ouchie and he wants to bite it out, but like, or if he saw like there's no way he could have done all of these things in order to trick them. And when they realize, get out, he's in there, get out. When she's on the phone with Jake Johnson and he's tracking the dinosaur, oh, he's in the facility. What are you talking about? And she's like,
and think about that tracking device was probably implanted in him a long time ago. Right, it's a huge dinosaur. So like
it's like a baby,
right?
It didn't come out like that.
So he's gonna remember. He's gonna remember the dinosaur, and I'm assuming it's I'm saying he, but it could be a she.
Could be.
But so the dinosaur remembers that when the dinosaur was younger, that they put a tracking device in him. It's so ridiculous, And okay, so the dinosaur's missing. Now they're going in there with nothing, like no protection whatsoever.
And they're going way too quick. They're like, this situation just happened. They're like,
just happened. Correct.
Use binoculars. Correct. Why do you?
You don't have a drone?
Why isn't there cameras? Yeah, drone. Or why isn't there cameras everywhere?
Why? Oh yeah, 100%. Why are there no cameras in there? No,
because what if the people go there that day? What if like the biggest pop star? What if Taylor Swift's there? She wants to take a selfie with the dinosaur, and the dinosaur's hiding in the trees, which obviously it was when it started to reveal itself. Nobody's going to be able to see it.
Wait. The dinosaur is hiding in a tree? How big is this tree?
No, I'm not in the tree, like behind the tree, like in
so
the trees.
So you mean, okay, amongst the trees.
Amongst the trees.
Okay. Because I mean, I'm just picturing a dinosaur standing on like a branch. How big is this tree that this huge dinosaur is
on a tree? That'd be on a tree.
You said standing in a tree. You said in a tree.
In the tree.
All right. But yeah, I mean, like, okay. And the safety, like, again, like, there's no safety measures in this.
Yeah.
This is the most dangerous dinosaur. First of all, I think that water dinosaur is the most dangerous dinosaur that they have. Which, I mean, ridiculous. Like, I wanted to see more of that thing. I wanted to see more of that thing. Like, but there's literally no safety measures in this cage or, that they're keeping this dinosaur. And so there was no roof over this cage, right?
No. Why wouldn't there? Why wouldn't they put a roof?
Right. It's like
even just like metal wire or something. No.
At least with the old, and you know what? It seemed like they didn't follow anything from the old Jurassic Park because at least they had the electrified fence, right? Yes. So why wouldn't you have that in there as well? Something. There was absolutely nothing protecting these people when they were walking in there.
Dude, this is 2015. There's baby cameras that you can buy at Walmart now for like $20.
2015. They're creating dinosaurs. I'm sure they can create high tech stuff to protect.
That's
them.
What I mean. Like, there's no security camera. The Sloman shield isn't
not one camera.
The fact that they say like, oh, I don't think it can climb out. What do you don't think? Should you have something that told you, something climbed out or something didn't climb out? There shouldn't be like this guessing to like this ginormous dinosaur. And when they get like. I love like out of the three, obviously like Chris Pratt's the most athletic. The other guys, it reminded me of, and I played this.
My gosh.
I played this the other day, ice hockey on Nintendo. So you have the really skinny guy who's really fast.
Yeah.
You have the really fat guy and the normal guy. It was like, that's what you had in this scene. The first guy got caught super quick and he wasn't like as big as the fat guy. So he was closer.
Yeah, that guy was huge. And again, wouldn't you think like for the most part like you would have like fit athletic security like because if you have to run not that you're gonna make it like the odds are you're probably not gonna make it but you want to give yourself a better chance that like then this fat guy's not getting out of anywhere like he's a mall security like he should not be a security for a dinosaur place he should be mall security.
You hire that guy. Because what you want to do is if you're like the boss, you never want to hire anybody faster than you. Because if you would want, that'd be like the interview process. I would watch the person do a 40 and then be like, you know what? Yeah, you're too fast. You're not hired. Because I don't want to be, because once the dinosaur gets the first one, for the most part, they're like done for a second.
Oh, yeah. Well,
not this one. This is like a murdering dinosaur. All it does is want to murder. Like when Chris Pratt says that, this dinosaur isn't killing for food. it's killing for fun. And I'm like, what? Like,
yeah. Well, you know what? I mean, he does make a point. This dinosaur was isolated entire life, never seeing another creature. You know, like so, like this is like, yeah, crazy, crazy. But yeah, the death and the way the doors closed with Chris Pratt trying to escape. Even that, like, why was it so, like, why security doors close that slow to give the dinosaur a chance, which, again, the dinosaur basically just barreled through. Like, you know, like, it closed like most of the way, and the dinosaur was in the middle, and just so, really, the walls were not that sturdy to begin with. Like, if this dinosaur wanted to get out any other time, he probably could have.
You could have done this weeks ago, and nobody would have noticed. There's no security camera. They'd be like, oh, hey, who put that new hole in? I don't know. Let me talk to the boss. And the dinosaur's not in there for like weeks. But no, when that guy gets eaten, man, I feel so bad for him because he's hiding in the front and the dinosaur, he sees the dinosaur's tail and doesn't even think like, oh, I should like follow the tail in a way because I know the longness of this now. And he gets scarfed up and crunched and rough.
I don't know. I think the guy in the first movie when he's going to the bathroom, wasn't there the guy to go in the bathroom in the first movie that gets eeten? Wasn't he like in the porta potty?
Yeah, okay. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a way to go.
Just the way he's getting lifted and the way,
yeah.
And then Chris Pratt, how does he know right away? Hey, I know the species. Let me cover myself in gasoline,
which doesn't come into play at all the rest of the movie. Like you would think that people like at least like in a comic relief sense would go, "Ooh, you stink." Like I mean, he's covered in gasoline, but he's also like he's doing a lot of shooting. There's a lot of gunfire everywhere. Like. Wouldn't you be nervous that, you know, you might ignite at some point? Because he filled himself with gasoline completely, you know?
And isn't that easy to rip the gas line? Like, I can go to somebody's car right now that I don't like and be like, ugh. He did it like one pull and he's like pouring the gas all over him. He's done that before. That's what it looked like. That wasn't somebody that did that for the first time. He's somehow, maybe that's training to work there.
But you're right, though. How did he know the dinosaurs is going to ignore him because of the smell? Or was he just doing a Hail Mary and saying, all right, you know, this is the only option I have. Let me just try it kind of thing.
What's the stinkiest thing I could pour on myself right now? Oh, gasoline.
All right. Well, it worked, you know.
No, it did. And then right after this is when they're like, hey, let's go in. We have this standby military team that probably cost us like millions of dollars a year. Let's send them in to take them out. And you're right. It was like the scene in Aliens. And they're like, Owen right away is like, why are they using non-lethal? Because they're using like sort of like bean bags and like little small nets. Like the one net like is like kind of annoying for him. Like he got like a spider web on his face. And like, what do they expect to taser him to death? Like that's what makes no sense. And there was nothing to corral him to. I was thinking they try to at least knock him out. No.
And how do you train for that? Like, how do you know what's going to be effective? You know, you have an island. You know, you're on an island. There's nowhere else to go. You have all these dinosaurs. How do you train to know what weapon is the best to use on the dinosaur?
I don't know.
Because clearly everything they used did nothing. Like I don't know if they killed any dinosaurs in the movie. I think the dinosaur
the pterodactyls were funny, like when they were shooting them with the tranq darts, but nothing really worked. And even in this scene, like in the beginning, it was so silly because you're right. It was like Aliens or Predator, the way they were, he was
acting so tough.
He or she was picking each like army person off like one by one for a little bit. It was
he was like Rambo. The dinosaur was like Rambo. Like it literally, it was like it was doing like trickery and like just like sneaking behind him. Like I don't know. And I mean, if you're a military person or just anyone that is hired to like go after the dinosaurs when all hell breaks loose, would you want that job? Like you can't think that you're going to get out of this alive. Like you have to know that, all right, if I'm called, you know, first of all, if I'm called because there's a danger, all right, that's it. My life's over. There's no way I'm getting out of this.
I put in my 2 weeks. I put in my 2 weeks yesterday.
And these guys acted as if like, oh, this is like it's another day at work. Like this is gonna be simple. Like they were so confident the way they were acting. It's so tough. It's like this thing is like 500 feet tall, and you think that you're gonna do any. First of all, you're gonna scare this thing, like
Yeah, I know. Do you imagine the job like you have like military experience or like you're a police officer for like years? It's like, hey man, we've only like 2 dinosaur outbreaks ever, and you get paid $100,000 a year. It's like, wow, you know what? If like I work there for as long as there's none, but as soon as there's one, you're effed. Like,
you're done. So
yeah.
you're willing to take that chance?
No,
I'm not. That's
at all. Oh my God.
No.
And then
again, this is the 4th time, so everybody has to know what's happened in the past, right? It's got to be on the news. What happened?
Well, it's only happened one time.
Humans didn't die in the second and third one.
Well, they did, but they were going there as part. Yeah, no, they died, but it wasn't like going to a park. No, what I mean, because the second one is Ian going there to protect the dinosaurs to be used by military, right? Aren't people trying to take? Oh yeah, they try to take it as like they want to take the T-Rex to the mainland. That's what to be able to like put it in an exhibit.
Gosh.
And then the third one was about William H. Macy's son getting lost,
right.
like backpacking or something.
Oh my gosh. It's just, you know what? All right, never mind.
Oh, was he hang gliding? Oh, it was hang gliding. Where are you going to go hang gliding today? I don't know. I was going to go to that, like where the lava's on
pterodactyls
the ground.
are.
Oh, man. Why don't you go to the place on the other side where there's dinosaurs? Like the chances of that happening. And that's not like a bad movie, but that was the one where, what's his name? Grant started communicating with the dinosaurs. Do you remember that?
Yes.
With the trachea,
very similar. Very similar to Chris Pratt. Like he's communicating with them. I mean, is this the same island as the first movie? Like, is this the same?
Oh yeah, Isla neighbor or whatever it is.
At what point, like, wouldn't you just nuke the island at this point? Like, I mean, like, it can't. I mean, again, and it's 3 more movies. Like, I at what point, like, who's making the decision to keep these dinosaurs alive?
No, I know. Yeah, the fact that they let them do it again, but the fact that they keep the dinosaur part of it, because I could see like in this movie, just because I do enjoy them and I think it's good for like in 10, 15 years, you can like like reboot it. Some other moron with $1 million or like billions of dollars wants to open it again, and same thing. And then other movies can come from however the first one transpires. But yeah, now why do they let the dinosaurs like? It's crazy because the pterodactyls eventually they'd be able. Why didn't they fly away in like the second and third one? Did all of them die, or maybe were they not in the first one? I guess there was no flying ones. There was no aviary. I guess
that might have been. I mean, but even here, I mean, like they were released. Like what? So were they in a big dome? Because there was a lot of pterodactyls.
No,
how big was a dome?
Yeah, no, it was huge.
How? Okay, because there was a lot of pterodactyls, and they're not small. So how, again, based on the number of pterodactyls that were flying around creating havoc, I have to assume the dome was not big enough. Like, there's way more pterodactyls than the size of the dome. But like, why did they escape? Like, they were free, but no, they wanted to create more havoc and just
we want to murder.
It became the birds. It became the birds with pterodactyl.
They did. And just one little flashback I just had. I did see the newest one, I think. I feel like in that one, they were like flying a plane to get somebody's kids, and the pterodactyls were trying to take out the plane. I'm pretty sure that happened, or I'm just thinking about that.
So the trend seems to be that kids always get themselves in the jam when it comes to dinosaurs.
Yeah,
in all the movies,
they love them so much. It's like candy from a van, you know.
Oh my gosh!
You gotta go for it. But this is when Claire finally starts closing things down because Owen does a little speech. Again, they don't do it fast enough. They're like, okay, let's just do this section. We'll make sure we get them. Don't worry about it. But no, dude. And then the giant ball that we talked about, like that stupid ride.
That ride really makes no sense because they actually went to an area they weren't supposed to go. Because
eventually, because there was a hole in the fence.
Right. So, or something, because the kid was like, the one kid didn't want to go. The other one said, let's go here. See, but the fact that they can go.
Fence. I don't know what it came from, but yeah, there was like a big rip in the fence, and he's like, hey, you want to do it? Try to be like the cool brother.
That's the ride that you can go wherever you want in the park. Like that was a genius idea that said, you know what? Let's have a ride where we have dinosaurs that are roaming. I mean, literally running right next to them. That they're able to play soccer with them at one point, and the fact that this ride could go anywhere with any dinosaur.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
And those are big dinosaurs, like the Brachiosaurus is like. If they stepped on the ball, I'm sure they in the movie they made it so it's like couldn't be penetrated, but you could still get hurt. They're getting hurt by the big one with the spiky. But where's that one just randomly in the Howling? Like that's what I don't understand. Like they have like sections of the park for different ones, but it seemed like that one wasn't in its own section. It was like through a fence in the middle of nothing.
Well, it might have been with all the the herbivores, so they're all in one section. It was pretty brutal what happens to the Brachiosaurus or whatever, the long-necked ones.
Oh my God, dude. And it just murdered all of them. Just bit all the necks of every single one.
Like this dinosaur makes the T-Rex look, because the T-Rex really only attacked the ones that were like bothering him in the first movie. Like he really wasn't like on a rampage. This thing is like just rampaging everywhere. Like he just wants to create havoc. And you know where it's
going. It doesn't. There's no like now if they had like its baby or something, there's no like rhyme or reason in the direction it was going. Maybe that's why there wasn't rhyme or reason, because it kept like sort of zigzagging, so it wasn't really going directly where it needed to be. But so one thing about these movies I do like is that it's kind of like a half family movie in a way, and then it gets like crazy, and then it turns into this like full action because. One thing that in this movie is the cell service, like this island, right? You have how many people here visiting? You want them to be able to like use like Wi-Fi, use social media. Hey, I'm at Jurassic World. Hashtag Jurassic World. So many times the cell service in this movie. Oh, do you hear me? Come in. It's your hand clear. It's like Oh,
you're in the middle of like there's a jungle there. Like you think the cell service is going to work there?
It should. We're at the point they own this park.
It should. There's no security. You think? Oh, because they're not. They're so unprepared for this park. There's literally nothing. Again, you have to have some kind of assumption that at some point a dinosaur can escape. Right? I mean, it's possible. I mean, you hear stories about lions that are running down the street that escape from the zoo. So you got to have some kind of. There's nothing like this. If this island is all it has is Jurassic World, what is your game plan if hell breaks loose? And there's nothing. Like they are so unprepared. So I'm not surprised that they're not more aware of the communication situation and just preparing for that, because they really are unprepared. I mean, the fact that they have to wait for a boat to come here. Wouldn't there be a boat? Shouldn't there be a boat at all times on the island? Like in case of emergency, we got to get everybody out of here. Like you have to wait for
not everybody comes on the same boat, so they must be multiple boat trips. So because there were so many people there, and that's
so many
when chaos is happening. There's so many people,
and they're all waiting at the end. Like an island like this, they should have multiple boats. They should have a boat there at all times. And so it almost sounds like they have one boat that once it drops people off, it has to go. Who knows how far it is to go to where they're going. Then to come back. One boat. Yeah. This is a multi-billion-dollar, amusement park, but you only have one boat?
It's on the budget. Bryce needed the money for something else.
Okay.
So this is where, like we kind of mentioned earlier, like the big dinosaur, once the kids go off-road in the hamster ball, they start like getting beat up by the herbivore. I forget the name. Apatosaurus, I feel like that one's called. The one with the spiky ball on the end. And
Stegosaurus?
No, Stegosaurus has the plates. That has the plates on it. Yeah. But I used to love dinosaurs as a kid. And then that's when we saw the big dinosaur come out of nowhere. Starts the spiky ones really put up a fight for a little bit. But then after they were taken out, the friggin' ball, dude. The thing is like chomping at the kids, and I'm like, the fact that the brother goes, "Hey, let's jump out. This is the time." That could have been death right there. The fact that the dinosaur is smart enough to do all these things, but doesn't know how to kill those kids that are in the ball.
Wait. Well, he tried. I mean, his nail got caught in the ball. His nail went right through.
I know,
You really think that his massive nail would go through it and wouldn't shatter the whole thing?
I know.
Like
he would shatter
it literally
in
went
no time.
Exactly. So I mean, yeah. I mean, so
he's
ridiculous.
The strongest dinosaur ever made. So
strongest and smartest.
Yeah, like they made.
Okay.
So they must have like used some kind of like, oh, it's going to be in this one field because they don't think ahead. We know that there's no security or anything. They're going to be in the field. We have to worry about the Brachiosaurus. That's like the biggest one. Let's use their pressure and their step. But this other one comes along. It's like probably 10 times stronger. Yeah, easily be able to squish them in it.
You know, you make a point because this dinosaur was smart enough to take away his tracker. Mm-hmm. He was smart enough to turn invisible to pretend he's not there. He's smart enough to pretend that he crawled out. Yet it does seem like he struggles killing humans.
Yeah,
and he almost acts like the dumbest dinosaur out there because at least the T-Rex was like shaking the car, like he was like this dinosaur really like the gasoline fooled him. You know, he couldn't. You would think that like he would take that ball and throw it against a tree, like smash it somehow. Like he wasn't doing that. Like he was outsmarted by people throughout the whole movie. Like the two kids and Chris Pratt throughout the whole movie, he couldn't get them. This is a genius. This is a genius dinosaur. Like he should have been able to kill them all.
No, he was not good. They didn't train him good enough. What if they did use him as the big machine? You know, in like drop in Iraq. All they have to do is we just need gasoline, perfume, and squirt ourselves with it, and he won't know where we are.
What kind of vehicle is going to be able to pick this thing up and bring him over there?
The biggest. If they can make this creature, I hope they can make like a triple cargo plane that can carry it or something.
It'd be the size of the island.
Yes. How about like when Vincent D'Onofrio earlier in the movie, like when he visits the control room and like chaos is happening, and he talks about like, yeah, you know, we can go in and kill it right now, and he's like giving his whole speech, and at the same time he like makes a call to somebody and he says, yeah, it's going down. Yeah, we're ready. And then like minutes later, he has like the army, which was weird because he had the army that was kind of there to murder him. So he was like kind of tricking them like, oh, I'm going to help you with that. At the same time, we're going to try to steal all of these velociraptors. Like that was his goal. But
no, of course. Yeah, but who's on the other end of that phone?
I was thinking it was like BD Wong because him and he had it out with BD Wong later in the movie. It
would have been cool if it was someone from the first movie, like Jeff Goldblum.
Could you imagine?
That would have been great. You know, he's bitter and, you know, he just wants to, you know, something like that would have been cool, you know.
Or the little kid from the first one. He's evil. Because there's not a lot of people that survived the first one. I mean, you know what? Girl, the boy, Hammond, or the other guy. Yeah.
You can't tell me those two kids in the first movie are not going to be traumatized the rest of their life. I mean, you know, like you first of all, how many people have they seen eaten and torn apart? So, You know what? You're going to grow up with some kind of evilness. That would have been great. It was the kid from the first movie, you know? I mean, even these two kids, you know, they saw a lot of destruction and they've been running from their lives. Yet there's points in this movie that they're acting completely fine.
Like, I know.
I'd be in panic mode the entire time. Like there wouldn't be a moment where I would feel like, you know what? Whew, I think we have time to breathe. No, because I don't know what's crawling behind me. Like, you know, like, so like there's too many like moments where like they're panicking and they're like, all right, no, they're acting like normal.
Yeah. They put their feet up. Oh yeah, this is cool.
Yeah.
Man, we're away.
No way.
It's like, the whole dinosaurs everywhere trying to murder you.
How calmly they are at the car. Like that whole scene, like the little montage or whatever they're doing. Like, there's no way you're going to feel that comfortable. Like everywhere I go, I'm looking behind me. Like there's got to be another creature ready to kill me any second.
That was cool when they jump started the old Jeep.
Oh, that was cool. You mean the Jeep that sat there for 20 years? That somehow the gas the gas is still in there. The gas is still good. It still works. Yeah. And the fact that I can't even jumpstart a car sometimes that has been sitting for 6 months. This car has been sitting for 20 years. It's 20 years. And the gas. Wait, doesn't gas go bad after a certain time?
Yeah.
I mean, I would think if gas sat in a car for a year, it's probably already getting bad.
Yeah, it doesn't run that good. I just use my gas for my lawnmower because I'm like, oh my god, this is like full. It's gonna be like nothing by the time. Yeah,
right.
I don't know how it started. But I
years.
do like the throwback that they did do that, and they were walking around the old visitor center from the original one, like the Welcome Center. Oh, that's cool.
How big is this? How big is this island?
It's so big that they can have an area that don't go over there. We have a ghost town part of our island,
but it's so big that they have 2 parks on the same island because it went to the old park that's closed down. Okay. Wouldn't you think that they would build, if they're building the Jurassic World, why didn't they just build on the old park where the old park was? Like they had walls already up there. They had, they already had the better security there. Like, why wouldn't they? True. Yeah. Okay.
No, they just wanted to leave it as like a tourist attraction. Ooh, see where the other people got murdered.
You're not even supposed to be there. So the fact that these kids stumbled upon it.
Yeah. Okay. It's not that far because all they did was, I guess because they went down the river when they had to jump away from the dinosaur, which the dinosaur that it almost, because we know how smart it is, it almost looked like it was like, well, I'm gonna jump.
And really, realistically, it's going to be up to his ankles. I mean, I don't know why the dinosaur did it. So, I mean, again, as smart as the dinosaur is, I mean, if these kids jumped in this water, you don't think he could have jumped and literally it would be up to his ankles. He'd be fine, But again, my point from before, so these kids are at the old place. They were just being chased. They had to jump in this crazy river. They almost died. And now they're exploring. They're exploring the old place, walking around, taking their time, not looking to escape. They're taking their time and exploring and in wonder of what they're looking at.
They're taking it all in, man. This is so cool. Yeah, I don't know how they could be calm. I'd just be like, all right, let me get I don't know if I would go inside anywhere. Because I'd be scared to be inside because I'm stuck with a thing, and then I'd be scared outside. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but see, I'm thinking the opposite. I'm thinking all right, clearly nothing's been near here. Nothing's been around here for a while. It's old. I mean, grass growing everywhere. I would just hide out there because running out in the open is not going to be safe. You have these wild dinosaurs that are running around. So at least it looks like there's nothing here. Might as well just hang here for a while. I don't know.
Oh my god! And then how about when we get to the owner guy when he's like, I don't need my instructor. Again, how do they not have a helicopter guy with the military guys? That I'm sure the older instructor isn't the only helicopter pilot, right? He can't be the entire guy. And the fact that he is like, yeah, don't worry, I'm going to go up there. And we talked about this earlier, but man, dude, when he was so scared the whole time. There was all these references made, and there was all these war when they were talking about the wars they were in, and you're thinking this is gonna end up really bad. I just didn't know how they were gonna go because I forgot.
Yeah, but okay. So I'm assuming there's got to be one of those military guys can fly a helicopter.
I would hope so. I would think so. But...
Right. Wouldn't you think one of them would fly the helicopter? No, you have this guy who's not a good pilot, who is shaky as anything because he scared Bryce Howard earlier. He scared his military people. Why is he in the most dangerous time where you need control? I would think a military person should have done it. No, this guy who doesn't even have his license yet. He still has 2 more days, which, should be longer. So this is the guy that's going to, do something yeah.
Right. And just the fact that he is the reason, obviously I know that the birds would still have gotten out. When the giant dino went through the lower part of it, when it was running away from the rockets and being shot at. But I don't know. It's a lot more convenient for the birds to go out from the top. The fact that the guy's helicopter, for the fact that the way those guys die, right? The one gets a pterodactyl through the chest. And the other guy, I think, just falls out from the impact of the guy flying terribly. Oh my god, dude! Pterodactyl to the chest. Oh.
I didn't even know they do that, but yeah, clearly
they do that.
And are these military guys? Do they just live there? Also, they're there all the time. They just hang around.
Yeah, I think it's they hang out with the other guys. Yeah,
and you made a point. The more I think about it, there's a lot of employees that are here. I mean, security, the military. It's the only thing on the island. That's the only thing on the island.
I know.
It's just bizarre.
How much is it to go there? It's got to be a lot of money. There's a lot of people to get paid.
What? How much is insurance? Like you got to assume the insurance is gonna be pretty expensive. Like in case someone dies.
Nobody like State Farm, Flo. They're all like, "Oh, we're not going to use you." They're using like Joey Batone's, like some shady insurance company.
Did you say Joey Fatone, the NSYNC guy?
No, Batone. But
that's it, Fatone.
But he has a slight resemblance to Joey Fatone, and yeah, he's actually Joey Fatone with the mullet.
It reminds me of my cousin Vinny, Jerry Callow. Did you say Callow?
He's dead. Did I say Callow? That's the best. But there's just like it's just so many things that would have to be paid for. So these people must be paying like a pretty penny. Even just getting to the island. Don't even talk about the ticket. It's like all these amazing vacations. Like, oh man, you want to go to Fiji? It's like just the flight alone is like, $700. Like, Jesus Christ. It's probably something like this.
But the more you think about it, so the hotel is in the park and you have the park. How many days are you going there? And how much a dinosaur can you see? Because there's nothing else to do. It looks like these kids went to every attraction in the park. They literally because the kid was running the entire time. He was so excited to see everything that was out there. And they went to every attraction. And that was a half a day.
That was
it wasn't even It wasn't even nighttime. So what else do you do on that island? Because the hotel's there. Like, what else is there? There's no, like, they really don't show the like, there's nothing else going on. Like, is it like a 1-day vacation? Is it like a weekend thing and then you leave? Like,
you're done. It's that you're in and out.
Like, I feel like it's not really planned that well. Like, at least, in Orlando, you do have 4 parks in Disney. You got 2 Universal. So you can kind of move around. This is just one Jurassic World. That's it.
Yeah. So how about these 2 guys in the movie? I hope you have these guys written down. So when the kids are in the Jeep and they're like driving, they're leisurely driving, right? There's like a leisure drive for a few minutes. We're not pressing the gas too much. And then they look up and they see the pterodactyls. But when they get to the fence and you have those 2 guys.
Oh my gosh.
Who are these guys? I'm like, wait, do they not realize what's going on right now? Was this like on a need to know, like tell everybody, but those 2 morons on the wall? Oh my God.
Wouldn't there be an automatic code red to like every walkie-talkie? Every walkie-talkie should have that code. We're on lockdown. Like, so that area is not on lockdown. Like, you're not nervous about that area at all. Like, yeah.
And they don't say like in their heads, like as security personnel with weapons, their first instinct shouldn't be like, who the hell are you guys? Be like, hey, they look like they need help. I want to help you. Yeah. No, our first thing is like, oh shit, we got to work.
And that, let's be honest, it's a 15-year-old. It's a 15-year-old and like a 10-year-old.
Yes, I know.
Who are these guys? Like, clearly that alone should have like alarmed you. Like, all right, this is not. And they're driving the old Jeeps that are not even on the island. Like, there's only certain cars that are on the island. Like, and these morons are looking like, all right, you're like they can't put 2 and 2. Like, this does not look right. Like, like this. Yeah.
You know how these people get hired? They probably are like. Maybe a bunch of people interview, but then at the very end, they're like, okay, in order to get this job, you have to sign this waiver. If you get killed on the island, your family, can't sue us. And like nobody wants to do it, but some people are like, shit, I need a job. These guys needed a job. They like,
listen, again, the most dangerous ride is the pinballs, and you have that stoner kid that's running.
And no supervision on the ride. He's not really running it. He pressed the button. That's it.
You would also think that they would be maybe like security guys walking around the whole open area, like to make sure everything's okay, or in their own ball, like security would be rolling around, just monitoring. Nothing. Yeah,
you think there'd be one in like a monitor ball. Yeah,
a few, right? Or a few of them, just so it makes you nothing.
Or like camera,
it's literally
right?
No. It's a free for that ride is a complete free for all, and you have that dumb kid running the ride. Yeah.
There's cameras in the original Jurassic Park. Remember Newman talking to the other the bad guy when he's like, "You got to get to the dock. We're gonna East Bay dock." This one, no cameras at all.
That's why I said, like, why didn't they use the original place? It had everything. It had better security. It had everything was so much better. All they had to do is patch the one hole where the T-Rex got out of. Yeah. That's it.
There was some cameras. I gotta take it back a little bit because Jake Johnson, like in the control room, but it wasn't like it wasn't enough. There wasn't even close to enough cameras that should have been.
No, clearly they couldn't see inside that mega T-Rex's playpen. So there wasn't enough.
Yeah. How about when the pterodactyl? They're frightening. When they're picking up people, throw them on the ground. But I love their first instinct was to take a helicopter and put my beak through the chest of a man. But their other instinct when they get to the theme park where I really hate these little triceratops. They start picking up the triceratops with no people on them and start like picking them up and dropping them. That was their first instinct.
Is it necessary to have like violent dinosaurs? Like if they just had all the herbivores that just eat plants and like the nice like long neck brontosaurus and all those, like the people still would have went to the park. Yes. Right? It's a dinosaur. They don't need to have the T-Rex. Like, do you think you're getting that many more people because the T-Rex is there? Like they're not going to go because of the brontosaurus, but now they have the T-Rex. Now everybody wants to go. Like if they just were smart and had the nice dinosaurs, we would never have a problem.
Yeah, like put it like a gene in there, maybe like dumb them down a little bit or something, or if there's something you can do in the DNA to make them more docile, why not do it?
Yeah, wait, yeah, it's called go after like the nice animals and splice that. Don't go after like it's like a young Frankenstein. You got abnormal brains that you're putting into the these dinosaurs, and this is what it's creating havoc. How about the fact that when these pterodactyls are attacking the park, did you see the one guy with the margaritas? He was running with the margaritas in his hands. Like he took them off the table and he literally was holding the margaritas as he was running.
The park needs to pay the employees. They're probably $25 each. They got to keep
I'm not giving it. But like they focused on it, like I guess for comic relief purposes. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't long, but like you could see this guy totally did that.
God, and friggin' the hot, not Keira Knightley.
Oh,
she goes rough.
You know what?
That's the roughest way to go.
I was gonna say she had it the worst. I think they gave her the worst death. Yeah,
getting picked up, dropped, picked up, dropped, and then they're fighting over her, and then. Drops her into the water and you see her sink and you're like, oh man. And then it goes down to get her. And then boom, the whale dino comes up and eats both of them. Oh.
She was tossed. Like, first of all, I mean, I would assume her body was broken by that time. I'm like, oh yeah. I mean, she was like tossed around. Like, yeah, I mean, that was crazy.
Oh my God. But the trank darts on them, I was dying when you saw them get hit. It was like, and it was like, you saw them fall. But I loved when you saw a close-up one when the ones were, which was a silly scene, I think, but when it was like sliding like a penguin almost, like, and it just got to the kids and you saw like these really sharp teeth. I'm like, oh my God, that's
I didn't know pterodactyl I didn't know they had teeth. Like you hear about pterodactyl. I just knew they flew. Like, you didn't hear them as vicious.
They're the flying ones. That's it.
The flying ones. That's it. Yeah. It's like, right. Clear. I mean, I wonder how much of it's true. Like, did they have teeth? Were they vicious like this? Because they were the birds. They were literally the birds attacking, left and right. I mean, yeah. Oh my gosh.
Oh man. And then we get a little quick makeout. Very quick makeout for like, you're like, all right, cool. But no makeout. I mean, makeout at the end. We didn't get that. There was like the moment for it. They held off.
Well, there was almost two of them. Was almost. Don't forget the other guy that tried to be a hero, and he said, "All right, I'm gonna stay back, and I'm gonna help." And then he leaned into
Jake
the girl.
Johnson, I love that, dude. He's so
that was pretty funny. That was very funny.
I have a boyfriend. Oh, you guys are still together.
But the way he did it, like he did that whole typical action movie, like leave me here, I will help, I will stay behind, you guys get to safety. Yeah. And he thought that was gonna be enough to get her. And yeah, that was pretty funny.
It's like, damn it, you know what? I really don't want to stay. I thought she was gonna kiss me. Can I go home now?
And then he gets up and leaves. He's like, forget it then, But really, like, again, you're surrounded by death at this point. I mean, there's chaos. You have time to make out. Like, that's on your mind. Like, that's like, I mean, I don't know. How can you?
Yeah.
I was saying, how can you be calm at any moment? Because nothing's done. Like nothing has been. Like there's no safety at all. You're not nothing, and you're still calm at some points. Like it's impossible.
Yeah, to be starting to make out, that would be like something super wild to like have to have that happen.
If you're running down if you're in a town and it's pitch black and like you don't know where you are, your heart's gonna be racing the whole time, right? And you're not gonna be calm until you're out of that situation.
Oh yeah.
No matter where you are. If you were in the woods, if you were camping and you hear like all these animals, like you're not gonna be calm until you're out of the woods and in your car and you're safe. There's no, like, there's still murder going on everywhere. There's chaos everywhere. I don't know if any point that anyone should feel calm until they're on a boat off the island.
Yeah. No, and to make out, like, what if it didn't work? Like, what if you leaned in to this girl you're crushing on and she goes, really? We're dinosaurs are trying to murder us. You want to make out?
And this is important to you? And my life is on the line, and this is what you care about? Yeah. Okay.
Dude, the hostile takeover when D'Onofrio comes in and starts like yelling at BD Wong, like that shit. That was crazy. That was a wild scene.
But he's the leader of the military? Like, how does that like
BD Wong? He looked like it's probably like some Black Ops kind of thing.
No, not BD Wong. D'Onofrio.
D'Onofrio, yeah. D'Onofrio's probably like a contract guy. He probably gets paid by the military to do. Yeah, that's what it seemed like.
But he didn't even look like security earlier. I thought he was like the cage cleaner. Like he was dressed like he was.
He was
like,
very messy. Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't look like he was security or military. He was really, I don't know what he did. Like I thought he was the guy that goes in there and cleans up the crap. Like, is there a guy that cleans up dinosaur crap like in zoos?
Yeah, there has to be a job. There's a janitor, I'm sure, a custodial engineer, I think, that goes in and clean. That's a pretty scary job. Like
I was going to say, who wants that job? Like, so the dinosaur that turns invisible, it looks like no one ever has got in there, right? So like. It would be funny if you saw like mounds of crap,
poop.
Like, I mean,
I would think they would have to
be. Right. I mean, and being that it's on an island, like, where do you put it all? If you do have someone, you would need like a bulldozer, like or something like that, or not a bulldozer. You need like one of those like machines to pick it up. Dump truck.
Something you have to like get it to poop right into it. Maybe it's potty trained.
You ever seen the movie Caveman with Ringo Starr?
Yeah.
There's a scene where they're like they weren't sure what it was at first, and they're like poking at it, they're smelling it. It was a big pile of crap, and it was a pretty funny. Yeah, it was a pretty funny scene.
Oh man, so I jumped ahead a little bit with D'Onofrio and BD Wong. It happens like a little bit. At this point, you really don't know if they're in cahoots, so that's why that was like a thing when you saw them together. But how about like this is the part when they're gonna go in? This is when D'Onofrio says, "Let's use the Raptors." And he finally gives in. Like Owen gives in, and Bryce has like this like ambulance armored car that she locks the kids in. This scene, when they're running away, that was a pretty wild scene. That looked good.
No, listen, I do like I do like the Raptors. I mean, like, it was very cool how they just. The whole rest of the movie, they're like the fact that you see just their head when they're like caged up and they're petting, like it just like they're just wild animals and they're waiting to get loose. Like it was cool. Like the rest of the movie is pretty cool. It just I don't know. Like it became too silly from this point on. I think.
Yeah. No.
That kind of
like, and again, like you said earlier, it's kind of the first movie, just different ways. Like, oh, they're gonna run away in a Jeep in the first one. Okay, we're gonna do that, but this armored ambulance thing that happens because it happens so quick, dude. When the Raptors are hunting, and they're like, "Oh, they're this way, guys, stop!" And then it sees the creature, and that's when he looks back, Owen, because his raptor made a weird look, and it's like, oh, the other part of this thing's part raptor, huh? And then they turned on him in a second.
In a second, yeah. And what was the purpose of the armored ambulance?
No purpose at all.
Because and if it is an ambulance, they have one for the 5,000 people that are in that park. Like they have one ambulance.
That thing was. It was so silly. Like, you guys just sit here, don't worry. And then she's sort of like watching it, right? Because she was connected to some so she had a camera to something, but they couldn't see like in the park. But oh my god!
And she left him alone again. She leaves him alone again. Like she leaves him alone like multiple times.
Way too much. And then all these raptors are murdering, and obviously like Owen has like a connection with them. He looks at one, and it couldn't have been Blue, because I would think this one got blew away when he's like making eye contact.
No, Blue's the one. Blue's the one that comes back at the end.
No, that's what I mean. But is that the one that we see get blown up? Because remember, he's looking at one in like the field, and then out of nowhere he's like making eye contact, and then a rocket launcher and blows it up. But you didn't see it like explode. So maybe that was Blue, because it came in at the very end, right? I don't think it was a part of the first group of dinos that were fighting.
No, I think they all were there. I just think Blue is the one he had the most connection with. So I think that's the one that he wanted to say goodbye to, like E.T., and then run away. Like, like it really was very touching.
Blue was crazy because it was about to kill the one actor, the black actor. He was he's in Lupin on he's in a million things, but Lupin on Netflix is a really good show. But in this, man, Blue was about to murder him, and then that's when Owen gets him to chase him. So maybe that wasn't Blue that got blown off. It was another one that we didn't get its nickname.
But I don't know. Well, we got all the names. I forget the names, but he does mention all the names at one point.
Yeah. He's going through all of them when when
so and it's like, and they're all like, there's like what, 5 of them?
Yeah, I think probably 5. Yeah, because there's only a few left. So some must die in this scene.
Well, so is Blue the only one left at the end of the movie? Like
yeah.
They're all dead.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
Man, but the end. So who's the one which one kills D'Onofrio? Is that Blue or is that a different one? They didn't zoom in because we knew it was Blue, because every time they mentioned, like, they would zoom in on that color stripe, the blue color stripe. But I don't remember the blue color stripe when, because D'Onofrio kills BD Wong, right, in this scene.
Yes. Well, yes. But doesn't the raptor rip his arm off first? The raptor rips off D'Onofrio's. Yeah.
Yeah, he pins him. He makes him walk backwards, and the door doesn't open. Yeah, he rips his arm off.
Okay.
Tears him up. Yeah.
Wait. So how did he? I forgot. How did he kill BD Wong? Like what was that? Why did he kill him?
I forgot what I forgot what it was. I think it was something over power. I don't know. I just wrote he was dead.
You know what? I don't remember that. I don't remember that part at all.
I remember him coming up, and then that's when they realized they were in cahoots. And because they were right there. Because then that's when the raptors were like trying to kill the brothers.
Yep. Okay.
On the chase scene, like at the same time, like she was coming there. That looked really cool. Again, it was kind of like the same thing as the first movie. There was like some cool elements to it, and then Owen comes out of nowhere and saves the day.
Yeah,
like he does so often.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, how does he know exactly where to go every time?
I know.
Like he and again, it's like, I mean, same thing with the dinosaurs. I mean, like that the smart dinosaur was able to go everywhere. Knew where to go all the time too, because it seemed like he was following the kids. Yeah, like everywhere the kids went, the dinosaur was there too. So
they're like kids. But D'Onofrio's, it wasn't just his arm. It was obviously the arm, but the hand, because he was trying to copy what Chris Pratt did.
You're right.
With the hand
you're right.
And then it was like.
I like how the raptor paused for a second. So like he's thinking like, all right, it's gonna work, and then he takes his hand right off. Yeah. That's right. Okay. God, doesn't he take his head too though? After he takes his hand, he rips his head off.
Probably. He's like on the ground. It's like a faraway shot.
Yeah. Okay.
But there's like a ton of blood spraying everywhere. But man, when all the raptors surround Owen. He's like, yeah, that's how it is. He's like, I'm like, wow, dude, you're talking shit. These like murder machines. And at the very same time, this is when Bryce and the brothers are right there, and they say like, we need more teeth.
Okay.
And then,
so
is this the part you have a problem with?
I 100% have a problem with this. So the plan, the more teeth that they figured, all right, we got this maniac monster out there, so let's let loose another maniac monster.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So what's the plan when one kills the other? What are they going to do about the other one that's loose, that's still out there?
Well, no, it can't get away from the island. It's not going to hop on the boat.
But it's still creating havoc. Like, there's still,
no, I know. There's still people
so
there.
Like,
you're right.
There's still tons of people there. So their plan was, this T-Rex is clearly a monster in its own. So you're assuming it's going to attack the other monster. What if they teamed up and decided to work together?
Say high five.
Right?
The little hand and the bigger hand.
It'll be a little high, like a little five. But that was a big assumption that they're going to attack each other. Yeah. Right? I mean, because you think about it, a T-Rex is the biggest dinosaur out there, so it's used to fighting all these smaller dinosaurs. So you don't know how it's going to react to a dinosaur that's bigger than and honestly, it wasn't much bigger. It looked like almost the same size.
It seemed like it was longer and like maybe wider, but the T-Rex, like size-wise, it was like toe-to-toe.
Right.
But just the fact, I obviously, because we've seen this, but when it's like open paddock 9 and Jake Johnson's like, which one's paddock 9? You should know this.
It should be in a second, right? You should know every again, the security here, the people.
The most infamous dinosaur, especially he loves the first one. Like, correct. He loves the original park. He bought the shirt on eBay for a lot of money. Oh, yeah, I don't know what T-Rex.
And it's the second most dangerous dinosaur on the island. Now that you have this other smart one. So it's a second. So you should know at least those two.
Third one, right? I would say the whale one is more powerful, right?
Yeah, but all right, well, yeah, but if you don't go near the water, it's not doing anything.
Yeah,
you have to be for the whale one. You have to be in the water. Otherwise,
it's kind of like Jaws. It's like nobody would have died if they just didn't go in the water.
You know what? Jaws is a nasty serial killer, but you know what? If you don't go in the water, it's the lamest one. So I think that's that. Yeah, the one in the water is massive. Like, I don't know how deep is that water or how big is that tank, because that thing is huge.
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but the fact that so her plan is to release the dinosaur, hoping they fight and kill. Is she hoping they kill each other?
Yeah, like a double knockout.
Because otherwise, what's your plan when whoever wins? And again, we don't know if it's the T-Rex or it's going to be the mega T-Rex, but whoever wins, that dinosaur is still going to be loose and still going to be hungry to kill everybody else.
Yeah.
So that's the problem I had, is like, your plan is now releasing another maniac dinosaur. With, again, no plan to get rid of one.
I thought you were going to be upset that she did the flare thing again. Like, that only works. Like, oh man, that's so 21 years ago. The fact that she can throw it and then not like he's like, I'm going to eat you. I don't need the flare.
She got the flare out of a first aid kit.
Yeah, they might
went
have
to the wall.
On an island. Like in a car, you have that in a first aid kit.
That's in a car. You're on an island. What do you need a flare for? It's the first aid kit that was on the wall, like that she took it out of. What do you need what? What?
It shouldn't be in there.
It's for people. No, it should not be there. There's no need for a flare in a first aid kit inside a building. Yeah. So that's where she got it from. Okay.
Oh my god. When we get like the fight, they start battling a little bit, and then Blue comes in, and Blue is like, it's like a handicap match, and they're like, visually, like we talked about, it looked awesome. Like, it looked so cool. But when there's like too much CG, that's when you're like, all right, well,
yeah,
just doesn't look. But I'm telling you, this is what I want to mention earlier. So the very end of the movie is they're fighting, and then the whale one that we saw from earlier, like 2 different times, like when people were going for the attraction, and then when not Keira Knightley gets eaten, like I didn't even think about it. Like when I saw the movie, I remember being so wowed when it jumped out of the water and killed like the mega one. Insane.
No, yeah, you know what? And you're right. You know, the CGI. I thought the action was good when they're fighting each other. It's it's like Godzilla and King Kong, right? It's the same kind of concept. I mean, it was entertaining, and the fact that the T-Rex was losing, but then the Raptors helped. Was it the Raptors that helped?
It was just one. It was Blue was the only one that was left.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, again, the fact that the T-Rex became like really wasn't vicious after the fight. Like, it was almost like he's like, all right, I'm tired. I just had a massive battle. He like walked alone into the woods.
Yeah, he's like, I'm going home.
I don't think
I'm going home to watch my shows. I want to go watch my shows.
I don't think. I think he's been locked up again, like forgotten about. Almost forgotten about. He's going to want to murder more. And
yeah.
How about the fact that these pterodactyls that we were talking about before, aren't they flying to like other countries at this
I would
point?
think
Like
I would think at least a few got away. Like not all of them probably got tranked and dropped to the ground,
but there were a lot of them. So
yeah, silly.
Like
what I mentioned before I forget, I was looking at posters for this movie. So they had like the generic poster that said like Jurassic Park opens, and it had like the date like June 2nd, 2015. But one of the alternate posters that it said like it was only out for a little bit because it gave away the ending. It was that dinosaur like in the tank, like a kind of like shallow, like looking from above and you see it in the water. Because I'm like, for something that's barely in the movie, that would like give away like, oh, this thing matters. Like not for like the two scenes that we saw. It has to be a big scene at the end, and obviously, good thing they got rid of it. Yes.
Yeah. No. But you know what? I think they could have made like another movie called Pterodactyl, and like it's now like these pterodactyls are loose, around the world, and like you don't need other dinosaurs. It's like again, you have a birds movie, but now you have pterodactyls that are causing havoc because they're still alive. Because the other dinosaurs are stuck on the island, right? So that's the only ones that can escape.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, Godzilla walks in the ocean all the time, so there's no reason why the T-Rex can't walk. T-Rex can't walk in the ocean.
Why can't you just be like, yeah, I'm going to get out of here? Because they are that tall. Obviously, there's deep, deep parts of the ocean. But if they go they could have went a different way.
Do you think Godzilla's as big as a T-Rex? Or do you think it's bigger?
Godzilla's, oh my God, dude. I'm sure it has to be.
Are these dinosaurs like because they look so huge in the movie? But I guess Godzilla, like, is he that much bigger? I mean, because it seems like they're. I don't know if they're like the same. Like, is the T-Rex the same size as Godzilla?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess if we knew like if there was like a building that we knew the size of, we'd have some kind of like
but you know
stick,
what? You know what? Maybe not because like I'm thinking of like in the first movie when he I don't know. It's because Godzilla steps on cars.
I think Godzilla's bigger.
Okay.
I feel like Godzilla's foot when it steps on a car like covers a car. I don't know if these footprints because remember when they saw the T-Rex footprints in like the first one, they were like massive like footprints. So I don't know. I just had to Google this. Other people that auditioned for the role. It was only one other one that they have on here. Josh Brolin was actually offered the role and he turned it down.
I could see that though. I mean, it would have been a different type of character, but I could see that. I think he could have done a good job.
I know it's Hollywood, but they would have probably still kept Bryce Dallas Howard.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know if there's any nepotism involved with her jobs, but I can see Josh Brolin in this role.
I think she did a good job in this movie.
She did. No, she did. You know what? I've seen a lot of her movies. I think she's a good actress. So nothing to take away from her.
All right, good. So when all these people are together at the end, like they survive and then they go and all the people are flying in, which the flights probably was so expensive to be able to fly and get to your loved one that quick. But do you think, like we talked about this earlier, but do you think they stay together? I don't remember in the second one, like the parents, the brothers, their parents seemed like they were bonding. They still had their wedding rings on.
Yep.
And that was like the director was probably, okay, make sure you hold your hand this way so you see it. And it was like, oh, okay.
No, I think so. You know what? I think the fact that they could have lost their children in this horrific, situation that probably made, bonded them. I have a question that in the second, I don't remember the second one. Is Jurassic World there still at all?
Yeah, it's always there. The island in the second.
No. But because my point is like I'm assuming there's going to be tons of lawsuits.
Oh yeah, no, it's not open.
So I mean,
open. No.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of who the main actor is in it, but it's like one of those older white guys that isn't a million. I'm trying to think who it is, but he's like wants to use the DNA of like I think Blue or maybe a different one to be able to figure out how to like cure cancer or something like that. And then
oh my gosh,
I forgot. It was really weird because I feel like the second one took place like in a mansion for a while, like a lot of it. It was like really weird. And the third one's like the dinosaurs are everywhere. But
I think the third one is more nostalgic, right? I think it's the one that
Well, the ones, they came back, but it's like the dinosaurs are around people more. So they're not just on the island. Because at this point, there's no reason to go on the island, you know?
Right.
It's like Lake Placid. Like, just avoid Lake Placid and you'll be fine. Like,
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
But yeah, so
hold on. Yeah. By the way, BD Wong is in the second movie.
Oh, sorry, I guess he didn't die.
So that's why we don't remember him dying. Maybe he left with everybody else when D'Onofrio came in there. He sent everybody away.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay.
He's a good bad guy. I guess we'll have to cover the second one. But
yeah.
So would you recommend? So that's Jurassic World. So obviously it's a good movie. Where would you rank this in the? Let's not even talk about 5 and 6. Would you put this ahead of like 2 or 3?
No. If I remember correctly, 2 was pretty good. 3 was not. If I remember, so I would say, it's hard to tell. I don't remember. Like I said, I don't remember them at all. Not that this is a great movie, but you know what? And I'm surprised I haven't seen the brand new one anyway, just because it's part of the series, right? I mean, even though it's not that great, it still has some good scenes, and it's part of the story and the series. So I would say I would recommend watching this movie. Just because if you're a fan of the first one, you continue to watch it. It's still, Chris Pratt is great. Bryce Howard's great. But to rank them, it is a fresh start on it. So maybe like 3rd or 4th. I just don't remember the 3rd one, and I don't remember
so maybe this is a 5th question. One.
Yeah, it's not. It really isn't, because I don't remember the other.
It was like William H. Macy and Tia Leone were the parents. So it was like you had good actors in it. And you had, what's her name, wasn't in it. Laura Dern wasn't really in it. She was in a phone call scene. Dr. Grant calls her on like a satellite phone to ask about a dinosaur.
Good actors don't make a good movie. Just because it's good actors doesn't make it a good movie.
Yeah, but it's just good to like the nostalgia. Like it's good to see like, those people like chewing up the scene together.
I think, and again, I'm sure if I watch it, I'll remember a lot of it. I think they're entertaining enough. I think, now we did this, I'm probably going to end up watching the newer one soon.
Yeah, me too. I want to watch the new one. I might start watching it tonight.
It did get bad reviews. But again, it's the series, right? I'm going to, not every Police Academy was great. Not every Revenge of the Nerd, series, it was great, but you're still going to watch them, right? And so I think that's the same thing. So I think with this, it was entertaining enough to watch, but I wouldn't rank it that high as a great movie.
Yeah, no, I thought it was like the cast was really good. It was a good fresh take. Again, after talking about it, like with you, like it is kind of like the same movie, just like repurposed parts. But a lot of movies, I guess, in the sequels or in these like requels, as they call it, like that's pretty much what this one is, even though there isn't anybody from the, except BD Wong. BD Wong is the one original character in this.
Oh, he was in the first movie?
Yeah, he's the scientist in the first movie. Yeah, and then he was in like the substitute.
Yeah.
One of the substitute sequels, he plays like the evil bad guy who's like the teacher at the school that everybody likes. He's actually like running a gang. And then he got on SVU, right? He was on SVU, Law and Order.
He was in a lot. I mean, I like him. So I'll tell you though, what this movie did show me though is that I think if they decided to reboot Indiana Jones, I think Chris Pratt can do it.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
I think he's got this. You got to have that smart ass, and he could do. I think he could play Indy. I think he would be a good choice.
Yeah, I think he'd be like our category that we enjoy so much, the accidental hero. I would love to see him in that type of movie. Like he hasn't done he's done like that futuristic action movie that came out, but I don't know if he's done like a normal not like Commando, but like, hey, this in this situation, hey, I don't know. Because I don't know if he's but you know what? Guy.
Well, you ever see the movie? What's the one with the guy from Better Call Saul?
Oh yeah, I forget the name of the movie. Yeah, Nobody.
But you're talking about right? Nobody, right? They're making a sequel to that, by the way.
Cool.
But I mean, you watch that movie. I mean, there's no way you would think the guy from Better Call Saul could play like an action guy like that, and he does. So. I have no doubt that.
Yeah, I'm not saying he can't do the action part. I just, for his brand, I don't know if he would do like a full action movie. I feel like he'd have to do like more of a comedic action movie.
But isn't that what Indiana Jones is? Like he has those one-liners and he's funny,
Yeah.
So. All right.
I think he could do it. But yeah, Jurassic World. It was fun to finally get back on the good sequel track. And I don't know if we're going to continue it because our next week's, our next review guest is notoriously known for doing bad sequels. Our buddy Nick Spernone. So he'll be back in 2 weeks. And then next week, we'll be here to discuss Howling 2, Your Sister is a Werewolf, which is wild, but it does have everyone's crush of the 80s, and the woman that does not age, Sybil Danning. Wow, man, gorgeous. Love her. She's going to be, I would love to be talking to her. She'd be a lot of fun, but it'd be fun to talk about that one because it is such a far cry from the original that went toe to toe that summer with American Werewolf in London. So just to have the sequel just be so off the rails, and they made so many more after this one, which I hope we cover more of the Howlings down the road. And
why do I?
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say, why do I feel like this is going to be the start of a downhill spiral of movies?
It could. I think we have maybe a couple really good ones, maybe marginally. But that's the fun part.
I know it is, but I just feel like this happens every time. Like we do a couple of good movies, that are watchable, and then all of a sudden there's this hill, and it's one after another. And I have a feeling this is the start of it.
We'll see. Well, maybe this movie will be one. Wow, this is actually really good. Maybe you're screw Rotten Tomatoes. I'm on this side. But yeah, so for it, I chatted with legendary special effects artist Rob Burman, who, it's so funny when you do these interviews, a lot of people, you look at their credits, you read a bio, and sometimes you don't ever know the family history. His family's been working way back until the Wolfman sequel. His relative, it was his grandfather, was a sculptor, an art sculptor. He sculpted the cane in that movie of the Return of the Wolfman. And then his dad has amazing credits, but one of my favorite ones was he designed all the masks for Planet of the Apes, and which is really cool, to our former guest Steve Neal, who does that as a hobby. He sells them to fans. And I mentioned that to Rob, and Rob goes, "Oh yeah, he uses my dad's mold. I gave him my dad's old mold." I'm like,
that's
dude,
awesome.
That's so cool.
That's awesome.
So many credits that we talked about from his career. And what's cool about him, because he was so big and he sort of had his own little studio, not a little studio, big studio, but there were so many movies he worked on that aren't on his IMDb. So many cool stories. So that'll be a lot of fun. So don't forget to review, rate, share our podcast. Follow us on all social media at Sequels Only. And don't forget to check out our website, sequelsonly.com. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, guys.